The rand is trading stronger in its previous close, than its previous close, I should say, so far today. Like most emerging market currencies, the rand is highly susceptible to major movements in the global markets. Lesedi Mabuza is at Sentio Capital. She's an equity analyst there with us this Friday to look at all of that and more. Lesedi, welcome back to Daytime Update. The rand, as I was just saying, still holding on to gains, and we're going to be able to sustain, or at least we hope, in the near term.
Well, I think, in my opinion, in the near term, as long as we don't have load shedding, as that is something that does fluctuate or cause the rand to weaken, I think in the medium term we can sustain this. But as we head towards, as Europe heads towards winter, where you're going to see them needing more demand for energy fuels, therefore you're going to see more oil demand and higher price demand, you could potentially see inflation stay higher for longer, which would mean for the Federal Reserve that they'll not be exactly pivoting in their rate hike cycle, which therefore you could see towards that time a higher US dollar. Therefore it's not good for us, therefore seeing a weaker US rand. But in the midterm, things are okay as long as this elevated or this peak inflation narrative still holds markets.
And you mentioned oil. Let's talk further about oil, because oil prices are also set to rack up the biggest weekly gains since April. That's on the back of concerns around supply stoppages or pauses. Where are we now?
So currently you're seeing Brent crude oil at about $100 per barrel, which is much higher than what we started off in the week, which was at about $95 per barrel, bringing this weekly gain by about 4% compared to what it declined last week, which was that 14% decline, which is that biggest decline since April 2020. Now, the reason for the gains that you're seeing this week is that you're kind of seeing recession fears ease in the market, and this is due to that peak inflation narrative holding up global markets. Holding up global markets at the moment. But I think the market is what's capping those gains from going higher is that you're still seeing the market kind of mixed in terms of demand outlook going forward. I mean, this week you saw OPEC come out and cut forecasts for world oil demand. So they cut forecasts for growth in world oil demand. But on the other hand, you saw the International Energy Agency increase their forecast for oil demand. So it's kind of a mixed market at the moment in terms of oil demand outlook.
Miner Sibanye has now reduced its output targets for U.S. palladium mines. What's the thinking behind that?
So some background on Sibanye. So they are a big miner of PGM metals, which are your palladium, platinum, and rhodium, as well as a miner of gold metals. So they have operations in South Africa, and they have operations in the USA, which is their Stillwater mine. Now, what happened is that management came out yesterday and cut its forecast for its Montana-based platinum palladium mine. Now, the reason for this is that there was a flood which halted operations. Now, the flood was caused by increased temperature in the area, which resulted in the nearby mountain snow to rapidly melt, therefore bringing the water down, resulting in the flooding. Now, in terms of that Stillwater mine, the group did purchase the mine in about 2017 for about $2.2 billion. And the reason for them acquiring that mine was to diversify away from South African operations. And this benefited them in the past couple of years. But recently, you are seeing that the Montana operations are experiencing operational issues such as you saw from COVID disruptions and skill shortages.
And Walt Disney has actually edged past Netflix with a total of 221 million or so. These are streaming customers, but now says it now intends at least to raise prices for customers. Why?
So Walt Disney came out with their Q3 results last night, and in this they have announced that they have reached a total of 221.1 million subscribers, and this is much higher than what Netflix currently had, what Netflix currently has, which is about 220.7 million subscribers. Netflix kind of peaked in quarter 4 2021 at about $221.8 million. Now, for Disney Plus, in order to attract, well, they say it's to attract customers, but we all know it's to boost revenue. They will be adding an additional ad support version of Disney Plus, and for this you'll be paying the same price, which is currently $8, but it will come with ads. Now, in order for you to want the ad-free version, you'll have to pay about 38% more, or above that $8 price per month, to obtain the ad-free version. And this is all in it's part of this media streaming business model. You grow the subscribers, and then you kind of peak and plateau at a point. In order to boost revenue from that base, you're going to have to add advertising in order to further gain revenue from that subscriber base. You're also seeing Netflix come out with a similar model, but I think they'll implement that in early 2023.
Lesedi Mabuza, a pleasure to speak to you. Have a great weekend. Thank you.